And it's week number 10 of the Chris Brecht State Farm Insurance Coaches Show. Here on 1360 Wow. I'm Matt Jarvi, and it's our final Coaches Show for the year with Coach Rocco Dobran. Good to be with you.
Oh, it's great to be here.
One final time, huh?
That's right.
Where's this time go? I mean, it seems like we just got started here, and all of a sudden we're wrapping it up.
I know, it's kind of crazy. I felt like a couple of them weeks, week to week, were like forever, like during the week, but then as a whole deal, it just goes quick. It's, I think during the week, you're so anxious for Friday to get there, it never gets there, and then the season overall is a fun thing, and it's just, where did it go,
Oh, absolutely. It was such an entertaining game against Cache. It really was hard fought. You guys were in that game the whole time. Just the second half kind of got away a little bit. But that was a team that was, they were a 5A team and a powerhouse. And now they're finally worked down to enrollment-wise to 3A, but they're still a pretty capable football team.
Absolutely. They're very solid, very well coached. And I think, on their end, they've kind of played the perfect offensive game. Going back and watching film, I was very impressed with our players because I thought, I was going to be more upset. And I'm like, you guys played really well, and it was consistently 3rd down and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, and they just got every 3rd or 4th down conversion they tried,
Right.
And it's hard to do that on so they executed when they needed to execute, and it was like 100% of the time. I mean, they had very few incomplete passes, and I don't think they had any incomplete passes when they threw their little out route and hitch route to that number 10. So the Kyle Sheets. So
yeah.
So they were kind of flawless on their end, and I thought we played it well. They did, in a long drive like that, you're thinking, hey, they're going to make a mistake somewhere. And they had about 4 long drives, and they made no mistakes, you know. So I thought our guys played hard. They played solid. I think the other team executed well.
And it seemed like their first series before we got the ball, maybe our guys were a little bit flat-footed or really weren't mentally in the game quite yet.
Yeah, I do think that first series, I was the only one that was a little disappointing because I same thing. I think they came out like not sure of themselves, and you can't come out in a ball game like that.
Right.
So we gave them bad field position right off the kickoff, and then they just scored quick. And I told our guys, like, you just got to settle down and relax because they were too, juiced up. And I was like, you guys got to relax and play. And,
right.
and they did well after that. Yeah, absolutely.
They really did.
They did well after that. And, like I said, both teams punted once, but we made those couple mistakes, a couple 4th downs we didn't get, or we had threw that one interception. And that's all it took in this game because we only had like 7 possessions of offense. I think 3 in the first half.
Right.
And maybe 3 or 4 in the second half. So they just kept the ball on long drives, and we scored on 3 of our drives and punted 1 and the other, an interception on another. So, you know what I mean? So there's 1 or 2 drives that we didn't score. So
now some of the stuff they threw at us, too, in that game, I don't know if you noticed that in films leading up to it or not, like that play where they've got Tanner Neiman was the junior quarterback in the backfield. Kyle Sheets obviously must be his arm or shoulders hurt.
His ankle was hurt.
Ankle?
Yeah.
He's not good enough to play wide receiver.
Well, right, absolutely. I think, that's why they went through a couple like shorter jump balls to him.
Yeah.
Where he went like maybe 20 yards, 15 yards. And then they run a ton of hitches and outs, stuff where they can use his size, but they didn't necessarily use his speed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he was kind of hobbling a little bit.
Oh, okay. I got you now.
Yeah.
But that reverse play, though, where Hearn's in the backfield along with Tanner, Hearn takes a snap and starts doing a sweep to the far side of the field. Tanner is standing there. Everybody's just not watching him because he's the quarterback, right?
Right.
Hands off then in a reverse to Kyle Sheets, who comes back the middle field. Tanner Neiman has found his way in the center of the end zone.
Absolutely.
Great red zone play.
Absolutely.
And when that came off, I said, man, this is perfect for the Spartans.
Yeah.
Really, with the team we got.
Yeah, and, it was one of those things because the quarterback got hit in the end zone. Actually, because I just kind of saw the corner of my eye where he flips over one of our guys, and their quarterback, or after the reverse, Sheets, is about to get hit by our guy, and he releases it just in time, and that guy gets up out of the end zone and catches the ball, Yeah. So I was like, everything worked perfect for them again, but But it was a good play call on their end. And then I thought for a reverse pass with 2 seconds left in the half, I thought we played it well. Guys were flying around. We were just a bit short on it. So
yeah,
and that didn't help going into the half. With that extra score they had there, and instead of us being up by a point. So.
Right. Very good game, though. It just didn't go our way that time. But, it's feeling those guys down, never seen them before, and, one of those learning processes that they go through. And moving past that now, of course, we're looking ahead here for the grand season finale. It's This is a opposite of that. It's an arch foe that we've played against many, many years, and you're used to them. It's the grand finale game of the year against Grand Valley.
Yeah, and our kids are excited. We've been playing them a long time, and since our schedule's changed with the PA stuff, this is the one consistent game that we've had the longest left on our schedule. So it is our only type of rivalry. It's a county school, so the kids are really excited about it, and they beat us the last couple of years, so that's even more of a and there's been some good games in there, not so good games, and it's kind of their turn to, hey, let's go do something about it, and we'll see if they do or not. But it's always fun playing them. They're a very well-coached team. They like to hit hard. We like to hit hard.
Yeah.
And, we run what we run, and they run what they run. There's not a whole lot of changing up. You might see a little wrinkle here or there, but they run their stuff. So it should be interesting tonight.
I noticed about them, too, that, it was 4 years ago last time you beat them, and rather soundly. And then 3 years ago was a real seesaw battle all the way to the end. Very close game.
Absolutely. That was a heartbreaker on our end, and playing at their place, and we had our backup quarterback, and he did a really good job that night, and we just came up an inch short.
Was that, yeah, right at the very end.
Yeah.
This year, and then they went through that run where they've had, been loaded up down there, stacked up, whatever, both sides of the ball, and played very, very well. This year, I remember some of the coaching people said they thought this was their last year where they're going to have that type of team where they can do extremely well, and they have done well. They've only got a couple losses, one against Wyndham.
Yeah.
And then Orange, who is a real strong powerhouse team from Pepperbike.
Absolutely. And, it's one of those deals where a lot of people say last year they had the really good year, or the really good team, which, first of all, I think we played them very well.
Yes.
They went up 21-0. And after that, it was a great game. It just, and Mikey didn't play the second half, but we still played well. I think Ryland kind of had a good second half. But anyways, so now they lost all those guys, and that's where they're coached well, because a lot of people says, oh, they're really down this year, and I'm like, well, they don't seem down if they're 7-2.
Yeah, right.
And even the game they lost to Wyndham, they were up 2 touchdowns going into the fourth, and Wyndham had a good comeback. So they just do a good job coaching and getting the next guy in. They lost a McGovern kid, but now they got another 6'2" quarterback, in Seeger, and they got 2 little short running backs, but they're fast. One's a slot receiver that gets jet sweeps and that kind of thing, and then their tailback 28. I mean, those guys, they can just carry the ball and make plays, And
so they still play the same type of offense where it's a very speed-oriented, sweep-type offense?
Absolutely. Still speed, And they got 2 nice fullbacks here. They're 2 inside linebackers, Rychek and Takis. Takis was Defense Player of the Year last year. Mm-hmm. So he's back. I remember 2 years ago when they beat us up pretty good. He was a sophomore, and I think that game he had like 12 or 15 tackles, and as a sophomore. And I said something to Coach Klavickas, and he's like, "Yeah, that was his breakout game for the year." And I'm like, "Oh, great against us," But I think the kid's never stopped since. He's been a true defensive athlete right there. He likes to hit.
Do the guys feel that, and that they realize this is their county rival, and they haven't had their way with them in a couple of years? They really want to turn that around.
Absolutely.
You sense that?
I think our guys are excited. They, and we kind of preach that up. That's what you do as a coaching staff. How are you going to motivate your kids? And we just, hey, what happened 2 years ago can't ever happen again. You can't just let a team dominate you like that. And we pointed out some of the mistakes we had last year from our sophomores, from now juniors, and playing really well. So I told them, you got to reverse just the attitude. Just you got to go out there with an attitude that you're going to hit. This is going to be a physical game, and you're going to go out and hit like you're supposed to do in football. You got to block, tackle, do the fundamental things.
Right.
It doesn't have to be flashy or showy or trick plays. It's just you got to beat them up front, and they seem awfully excited. And I think now that the playoff picture's out of the table,
right,
they know it's their last game.
Yeah.
There's no question it's their last game. It's on our home field,
right.
So there's no I don't know. It's just that, hey, we got one game left, and it's this one game that gives us a winning record. It's against our rival. We know we're done after this, so there's no reason to take a week off. Let's just go and get this. Let's have a great one.
Right. Let's go out and
they look like they're having fun at practice. So I hope that carries through.
That's great. Yeah, well, it's been a great year too this year. Obviously, guys have accomplished quite a bit. You got a Region 3 title. Played very good football against some very good football teams.
Absolutely.
This year you really have.
I'm proud of them. And it's tough because when we go back, we're gonna say, hey, we wanted at least two games that we didn't get. If we could have got one of the two, but that's what good players and good coaches do, I think. You always want better than you did. But if you look at the individual performances and the play as a team, even those 2 games we lost that we thought we could have won, the players played. Just didn't come out how we wanted, So it wasn't like, hey, we played and it's the game of football. Sometimes you lose.
Coach Rocco Dobran, 2018, it's been a real pleasure.
Hey, it's been great being here, and thank you for having me all these weeks.
Thanks for being part of this Coaches Show, too. And it's our season-ending edition of the Chris Brecht State Farm Insurance Coaches Show here on 1360 WOW. And go Spartans.
Go Spartans.